Okay. Let's see. Kind of fell into a folky thing with a couple of the songs. With I'm Going to the West and I Remember Loving You. Are you all familiar with either of those two songs? Oh, good, cool. Yeah, they are both beauties. Why don't we start with I'm Going to the West? And just before class, I was looking at my notes, and I don't know if you printed some things out or if you're looking on the screen. I changed the chording information on line 3. You say not, you will not follow me, and it's actually as it should read now is above the word will should be a 5, and then 4 above follow. Say you will not follow me. It's a really pretty part of the melody, and I should always double check my notes when I. So I will sing through once and then we'll talk about it. I'm in key of G. Okay. You say you cannot go with me. You turn your eyes away. You say you will not follow me. No matter what I say, sorry. I'm going to the west in this fair land. I'll stay no more. Here labor is in vain. Leave the mountains of my birth, seek the fertile plain. I'm going to the west. You say you cannot go with me. You turn your eyes away. You say you will not follow me, no matter what I say. I'm going to the west. 3 years passed since we first met, and you became my bride. Now I must journey far away without you by my side. I'm going to the west. You say you cannot go with me. You turn your eyes away. You say you will not follow me, no matter what I say. I'm going to the west. I'll leave you here in the land you love. May it seem so bright and fair, where fragrant flowers are blooming and music fills the air. I'm going to the west. You say you can not go with me. You turn your eyes away. You say you will not follow me, no matter what I say. I'm going to the west. I'm going to the west. There was a time in the late 70s, which I've probably referred to a few times, on radio station KPFA in Berkeley. They played this song a lot. There were some nice versions of it out. And Laurie Lewis has a real nice version that's one of the ones that I listed there. There's a link to a wiki about this song. It's kind of odd. I kind of thought that it was a more modern song. It was from like the 1880s, apparently, as far back as they've traced it. One of the notes in the wiki comments on how it seems to not be a professionally written song, but written by a non-professional, in that it doesn't have the sentimental details that songs from that period would have had. It's kind of drier and more direct emotionally, which is kind of cool. And it talked about a migration from Alabama to Texas for people looking for work, that it actually came out of a situation that was actually, happening then. But that whole thrust of going to the West has such a kind of a archetypal American theme. Somebody needing to go west for some reason or another. But I always like the way the sort of argument of the song is set up. They're talking about how the chorus keeps repeating. You say you won't go with me. You turn your eyes away. You say you won't follow me no matter what I say. It's just it's so poignant that there's going to be a separation, and here it comes again. It's just not going to happen. No matter what I say, you're going to remain. And it's really a beautiful idea for a song. There's a bunch of interesting versions of the song. A young woman named Cody Hogue, who I think lives in the Pacific Northwest now. She's somebody that I met through the Puget Sound Guitar Workshop when I taught there. She's a young woman who now she's teaching there, but she was a student there for many years. Kind of a folk singer, banjo, and she does folk and more contemporary stuff. She's a very good singer. And I haven't heard this song very much for the last few years, but I expect it'll be kind of back. There's a kind of distinction that goes on in jamming circles, which are mostly geared towards bluegrass material, and which is mostly what to say, male centric, I guess you'd say. A lot of the bluegrass heroes are men in bands and male songwriters, and not always, but that's kind of the beginning thrust of it. And it's a different style of music. It's less sentimental, it's less gentle, it's purposely driving and kind of aggressive sounding. So folk music sometimes gets I think unfairly disregarded. But one of the reasons that I think that it does is that when you listen to some of the recordings of folk music, you it tends towards being very gentle, very perfectly done, everything completely in tune, every word enunciated, a little precious in its worst forms, where it gets a little too careful, a little too, kind of Smithsonian Institute. Here's the version of versions, and people are trying so hard to make it perfect. And I think in some ways it's just sort of a tendency of people that are kind of educated in music and maybe trained well on their instruments or trained as singers. They want to do it perfectly, which is, it's folk music, but then you get to a point where it's kind of a little, you know, been in the oven a little too long. And that's something to note about some of these versions. I like to hear people take a song like this and sing it like it was written yesterday, sing it like it belongs to them. And that's what I always encourage people to do, is find the meaning in the song that appeals to you and sing it from that place. If you listen to earlier versions, it's good to know how they go, but a lot of the ones that are clearly and specifically folk songs, you'll notice they start to sound a little squeaky clean, a little too, a little too perfect. And whereas the country versions, things sound a little bit rougher, a little bit looser, a little bit, like there was probably, some roughness in it somewhere along the line, or some alcohol or something along the line was ingested into the music to make it a little more of a party music or a dance music. But a lot of the times, if you think especially of the British folk music scene, the Ewan MacColl scene that was existing in England, people would go to these folk clubs and they'd sing a cappella versions of child ballads. And if you sang it the wrong way, people didn't like it, and they were so doctrinaire about how it should go. And a little bit of that kind of exists in the folk community. And the San Francisco Folk Music Society is a good example. I've never really been a part of that, but I know people that kind of in the late 60s through the 70s and 80s, a woman named Faith Petrick had a house here in San Francisco that was a kind of a folk music gathering place, and there was folk music of all types, old time music and folk stylists in general, and new singer songwriters. But there was a preciousness to it that was what I heard about before I actually met anybody. It was very, very. I think the word was twee, a British word. It was a little too full of itself. So you get that edge to it. But anyways, this is a gorgeous song, and I'll sing it again here. Oh, also, I haven't really sung this song myself. I never have learned it to sing in my version, whatever that would be. And so the timing on the third line varies from time to time. I would need to sing it 20 times before I've figured out how I want to make the length of that line. You say you will not follow me, no matter what I say. You say you will not follow me, no matter what I. Depending on, I don't know what, it'll be longer or shorter. So that's, and I think the different versions reflect that too. So anyway. You say you cannot go with me. You turn your eyes away. You say you will not follow me, no matter what I say. I'm going to the west in this fair land. mountains of my birth and seek the fertile plain. I'm going to the west. Sorry. You say you cannot go with me. You turn your eyes away. You say you will not follow me, no matter what I say. I'm going to the west. 3 years have passed since first we met, and you became my bride. Now I must journey far away without you by my side. I'm going to the west. You say you cannot go with me. You turn your eyes away. You say you will not follow me, no matter what I say. I'm going to the west. I'll leave you here in the land you love, mid scene so bright and fair, where fragrant flowers are blooming and music fills the air. I'm going to the west. You say you cannot go with me. You turn your eyes away. You say you will not follow me, no matter what I say. I'm going to the west. I'm going to the west. I have lost my place in there after the first verse. I had a memory of hearing this at a party. I didn't even remember when it was, in the 70s sometime, and when I first heard it, and I was so stunned by it, and I remembered where the party was. It was in Berkeley, and anyways, it won't be an interesting story, but I had this memory while I was singing it of gosh, that's a beautiful song. That's so beautiful, and I just fell in love with it, and I was thinking of where I was when I saw it. The fact that I was hardly playing guitar at all in those days, and I was so intimidated by people that were singing and singing harmony, and it just seemed like, oh my God, that's just an amazing thing that they're doing. And things have changed. I got a guitar in my hands pretty frequently, and it's not that hard, friends. It's really not that hard. So I'm gonna. By the way, I was working on something today. I teach class. Well, because this is one. I teach classes at the Freight, and this class is going to become a version of itself where we'll be jamming more. I don't think I'll be doing it online because you kind of can't jam online. But what's happened is the folks who have shown up for the guitar class, also some of them took this repertoire class in the past, and they want to jam more. They want to sing the songs that they've learned and bring them to the class, and for us to sing and me to help them learning how to jam. So I lead the jam at the Freight once a month, and it's a nice bunch of people, 10 to 20 people usually, It's really well attended, and you can bring songs. And part of what I do is help people understand what's the culture of jamming. How do you lead a song? How do you announce it? How do you let it go around the circle and take turns? It's not hard to do, but it kind of takes some steering. Anyways, this class that will be coming up, I'm going to change it slightly from doing 4 or 5 songs a week to I will bring in a couple of songs, teach them to the group, and then we'll do them. We'll do them together. I'll sing it, and then somebody else in the group can sing it.
I love that. That's a great idea.
People
That's
want to sing more, and
yeah.
I really understand that.
I mean, I've appreciated this because I like kind of the history of the stuff. Like that's really interesting, but I can see that I'd love to do that next. My daughter lives in Oakland, so even though it's like an hour and a half away for us, if like I keep thinking, okay, on a Sunday, I'm gonna have to just go see her, so I can go see you.
Oh,
So
cool.
that
Yeah,
would be one of these days.
yeah. Where are you located?
I'm in Lodi.
Oh, Lodi, that's right. Oh gosh,
Yeah.
yes. Wow.
Yeah. So, but it's possible. I just have to make it happen. So I think that would be fun. That's great because that idea of learning how to actually do it, do a jam with people. I think I know for me, that would be super helpful.
Yeah. Well, the Freight Jam happens on one Sunday a month. I think it's going to be the 28th of this month. And it happens in the lobby at the Freight on a Sunday afternoon. And this class will be happening on Thursday. The class I'm talking about will be happening on Thursday nights. Um, and so I'm going to be changing what it says on the Freight site because I want to change it to what people really want. And
I think that's cool. I think people will love that. That's great.
yeah, people want to learn how to do it with other people and practice singing. And, like I was just saying, it's not hard to do once you start doing it. And you get a lot of good support for putting yourself out there. It's really a friendly scene. And that's my whole mission statement around the Freight is I just want to get guitars in people's hands and sing, get together with people and sing. It's so hard to make it happen. I went so many years with my guitar under my bed thinking, where are all the people that are buying these instruments? Where are they? And then I found jams and started going to jams. But, and there's different kinds of jams. The bluegrass scene can be a little bit doctrinaire and boygrass, and it gets a little bit, driving, pounding, fast fiddle tunes, and which is fun. It's really fun. But there's all kinds of jams and parties to do and things like that. The whole community of people that are doing it. So. Anyways, I will let you know about that as it changes. I was just rewriting it today. Well, let's go to I Forgot More Than You'll Ever Know. We were talking about that, I think, last week. Skeeter Davis and the Davis sisters. Oh, let's see. I'll see if I can find it. There was a version. There's some really nice versions by the Davis sisters. That the original version of this. And as I was saying, it's Skeeter Davis, and I think her name was Betty Jack. She called herself Betty Jack Davis. She died tragically in a car accident, and so Skeeter was left by herself to have her own career. And there's a wiki on the Davis sisters and what happened with them. But they had a really good harmony blend, so I'll sing through. I think this might be in G as well. And this has, instead of a chorus, really, it's got the refrain of I've forgotten more than you'll ever know about her. Like a lot of country songs from that period, the 40s through the 60s, the title contains pretty much the whole song. It's really the kernel of the song and the hook and the thing that got people excited about the song. And then the rest of it is the backstory, sort of. So it begins with that refrain. I've forgotten more than you'll ever know about her. You think you know, but the smile on her lips, the thrill at the touch of her fingertips. But I've forgotten more than you'll ever know about her. You think you'll find a heaven of bliss in each caress, in each tender kiss, but I've forgotten more than you'll ever know about her. You stole her love from me one day, and you didn't care how you hurt me, but you can never steal away memories of what used to be. You think she's yours to have and to hold. Someday you'll learn when her love grows cold that I've forgotten more than you'll ever know about her. Yes, I've forgotten more than you'll ever know about her. This is one of those kinds of country songs where you get to say something in a song that you would never have an opportunity to say to somebody in real life, probably. So it's kind of delicious in that way, and it's kind of funny how the way the verses work. It's kind of a catalog of the intimacy that this person has had with the other person, that now they're telling the third person, you'll never have it as good as I had it. So it's kind of a funny complication that so it's
Richard, is that chord, is it the 2 chord? Is that correct?
yes, yeah,
Back down there. So that's like if it was G, that's the A minor. Is that right?
that's just an A major.
That's- Got
Yeah,
it. Okay, thank you.
yeah, it's not always the relative minor. Yeah, it's actually in this music it's usually the major.
Okay.
And if it were a 2 minor, it would be in lowercase Roman numerals. So yeah, yeah. I love 2 chords in this kind of music. It's so dumb in a way, you know. It kind of starts on the 4. You stole her love from me one day. You didn't care how it hurt me. Now here comes the twister. But you can never steal away memories of what used to be. So that little twist of the 2 chord, it's so corny and such a, you know, but it opens it up. It's just enough to let in one, you know, little bit of whatever the words contain. And I just love 2 chords. I'm a real sucker for the 2 chord. So yeah, there was a version by Bob Dylan that I had. It might have fallen off of YouTube. That was kind of nice. I think it was from maybe the Basement Tapes, um, that he did with the band, and he just there's I'm kind of a Dylan fan, especially the off the cuff kind of stuff where he's just singing songs that he likes, and um, they're usually really nice versions of the song. They turn out to be. Um, and Jerry Lee Lewis does a nice. If you like Jerry Lee, which I do, he tends to make things his own, and um, put a put an energy behind it that's characteristically Jerry Lee. But yeah, I don't know when Skeeter Davis stopped recording. She got such a great voice, and seemed like such a cool um, um, country star during those years. I remember hearing her on the radio. So let's do this again. forgotten more than you'll ever know about her. You think you know the smile on her lips, the thrill at the touch of her fingertips, but I've forgotten more than you'll ever know about her. You think you'll find a heaven of bliss in each caress, in each tender kiss, but I've forgotten more than you'll ever know about her. You stole her love from me one day. You didn't care how you hurt me, but you can never steal away memories of what used to be. You think she's yours to have and to hold. Someday you'll learn when her love grows cold that I've forgotten more than you'll ever know about her. Yes, I've forgotten more than you'll ever know about her. What's that? Cold comfort. That's I think that's the expression that applies to that kind of sentiment. Yeah, and then that line of someday you'll learn when her love grows cold. It's like not only will you never know her as well as I do, but she's going to leave you too. So it's got an edge to it, but it's sweet. It's a sweet song. So let's go down to I Remember Loving You. This song I thought of a couple weeks ago. I first heard this song. It's in the 3 pages of stuff that that's in the file about it. The first version that I heard of it was by Guy and Candy Carawan, and they came to La Peña Cultural Center back in the late '70s and did a show there, and they were kind of, I think Guy Carawan was the director of the Highlander Center in the Blue Ridge Mountains, and it was like a folk center, a cultural Appalachian cultural center to preserve the crafts and art forms of that area. And I think I believe it started in like the '40s. I'm not certain of that, but it was it's still going on, and it's Guy Carawan was involved with them for years, and he and his wife Candy came to La Peña and sang this song. I was showing up in those days with a cassette recorder and just turning it on and grabbing anything that I could to learn. And so that's the first version that I heard, and I sang it for years. And it's worth going through, but the actual song was written by a guy named Luigi Del Popo and Tino Chumlevich, and collected from Del Popo at Nelson, British Columbia in 1970. Learned by Utah Phillips in '74 in Spokane, Washington, from the singing of a woman named Hilda Thomas. So, and then he changed one of the lines, lines 3 and 4. So he kind of turned it into, he kind of brought forward the real song, which has got a lot more shadows in it, and it's a rougher sounding song. This is a perfect example of what happens even within folk communities. Guy in Candy Carowin. I don't know how they came to come up with a sort of sanitized version of things, but yeah. Let me sing through it first. Maybe I'll do it in the key of A. Yeah. I look at my brown suitcase, think of all the places that I've been. Railroad yards and prison guards, dumpy little towns along the stand, and the whispering of the people as they watch every move that I go through. Yes, I remember all those things. Mostly I remember loving you. I remember loving you back when the world was new. And I think you loved me too. I remember loving you. The buckskin smells, so the people tell, as we huddled in the boxcar from the rain. Flashing lights that cut the night, the railroad bulls that pulled us off the train. When the winter's cold and the norther blows, I'm huddled in the corner till I'm blue. I remember all these things, but mostly I remember loving you. I remember loving you back when the world was new. And I think you loved me too. I remember loving you. The winter streets where the frozen sleet comes soaking through the cardboard in my shoes, where the promised land might be a place where a man could find free cigarettes and booze, and the alleyways full of ragged strays, the doorway wine I tell my troubles to. Yes, I remember all these things, but mostly I remember loving you. I remember loving you back when the world was new. And I think you love me too. I remember loving you. I remember loving you back when the world was new. And I think you love me too. I remember loving you. Yeah, there are some variations on the lines on the second page there, where the promised land might be a place. Swinging doors and mission floors that tell me I got nothing left to lose. I'm not sure which version brings up those lines, but it's kind of a hobo song. I think if I remember correctly, I should know better, but Luigi Del Popo and Tino Chumlovich were hobos. And I think it kind of came out of an actual experience. But then when you look at the guy in Candy Carolyn version, um, I look through these old letters uh, from the places where we've been, little towns on the railway lines, and all the friendly homes that we've been in, and the whispers of the people in the towns when we'd been there and they knew. I remember all these things, but mostly I remember loving you. But then the laurel smells that we knew so well when you'd hold me in your arms all in the rain. The night you came from a westbound freight, you were passing through and said you couldn't stay. Just an hour we shared, and you said you cared and you'd come again the next time you were through. I remember all these things, but mostly I remember loving you. When the northern blows and I'm lying cold in my bed and I can't sleep for thoughts of you, and you're out somewhere in some lonesome town, so far away that I can't get to you. Close by your side everywhere you ride, and you're with me in everything I do. Yes, I remember all those things, but mostly I remember loving. It's a beautiful song, a beautiful poem in that way too. That's how I learned it, and I thought that's a lovely song, and I sang it quite a lot when I was first beginning to pick up a guitar and figure out what songs I liked. Um, uh, and It was very touching. Then I heard these other versions um, by Utah Phillips, but especially by Jody Stecker and Kate Brislin. I've mentioned them before. Their version is particularly lovely and um, um, a good demonstration of what kind of magic they can do with a song. They make it beautiful and sound spontaneous and lively in a way that a lot of overproduced folk stuff doesn't really work. And they're singing gorgeous harmonies all the way through. They're such good musicians. Um,
I
so
So
watched
Richard,
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, you go ahead, Carol.
I was gonna say, I listened to that Guy and Candy version, and the harmonies are just beautiful. It was so pretty to hear that
yeah,
version.
yeah,
I listened to both the first one and then that one, and it was beautiful.
yeah, it really is. Yeah, yeah. What were you gonna say, Charlotte?
Richard, how do you fight through the emotion on some of these songs?
Well, that's a good question.
The song really gets to me. My
Yeah,
voice is breaking.
yeah. Well, I hear you.
How do you,
Yeah. Well, one of the things is I think it's a really good sign of a song if it chokes you up. If it gets to you emotionally, it's really worth figuring out how to sing it. And how to where does your attention go with all the emotion that comes up? Like I noticed singing uh, the, I'm going to the West. I was kind of thrown back into a party that happened, 40 years ago, and feeling things that from that time just because I heard the song, and I think that's what songs are for. I think they're doorways into emotions that we get to feel ourselves when we sing them, and um, hopefully when other people hear it, they get to feel it vicariously if they're not singing it themselves. They get to feel those things because the song brings them alive and makes them safe to hear because they're a little bit distant. You can hear somebody else sing about something troublesome or sad or something and think, oh, okay, that's touching, but it's not happening to me. And that makes it a little bit safer to go through. Um, but when you're singing it, you get to work those things out. You get to go back and touch that tender spot that, isn't quite, never quite heals, never quite goes away. And loss and grief and things like that are just, so much a part of life. They're infused in this music. They're so, the better songs will have genuine feelings in them that are portrayed in a pretty way or portrayed with good harmonies or poetic language that really helps. But yeah, it's hard. I mean, I'm feeling it as I'm singing them. And the one of the things that I want to say about it is when the difference between the two versions, I learned the kind of, excuse me, cleaned up version first, and I loved it. You know, um, uh, the night you came from westbound freight, you were passing through and said you couldn't stay. Just an hour we shared, and you said you cared, and you'd come again the next time you were through. That's heartbreaking, you know. It happens not to be in the original song. Somebody wrote that, you know. But what a beautiful way to take that thrust of a line or an idea and turn it into something that it's not about hobos necessarily. It's just people passing through each other's lives, which, you know, I have to admit, when I heard that song, that was directly happening to me. Somebody was passing through my life, and I just thought, this is the most beautiful way to say it. I can't, you know, I couldn't put it better myself. And it meant a lot to me it meant a lot to me singing it or walking through it, speaking through it just now. But yeah, and it's folk music. It gets to evolve. You can, you know, people make up their own versions of things and change them around, and that's the beauty of it. It's a process. It's never really finished. And I might have mentioned before that Utah Phillips, who has his hand in this song a little bit, kind of popularizing it at least, was at a party and overheard somebody singing one of his songs, and they didn't know who he was there. They didn't recognize him, but they were singing one of his songs. And after it was over, he went up to the person and said, "That's a cool song. Where'd you hear that? You know, who wrote that?" And the guy said, "I don't know. It's just some old song. It's been around forever. Nobody knows who wrote it. It's just an old folk song." And Philip said that's the best compliment he ever got. That one of his songs had its own life. It wasn't attached to his ego or his you know, whatever. He just, people loved it enough to take it on themselves and turn it into something of their own. And it's not a you know, Phillips was a wobbly, you know, a leftist union person, and not exactly a capitalist. So his take on what you do as a musician was radically different from a lot of people. But I think creatively, artistically, he's exactly right. If a song is good, it should be universal, and you feel it, and it should take off on its own wings. And but I had a really nice experience though in what year would that have been? 2008, probably. I was at the Strawberry Music Festival where I used to go every year up in the Sierras, and Utah Phillips was singing there. He'd been on the stage early in the morning, and I don't know if you've been to Strawberry at Camp Mather, but it's in the redwoods. It's in the woods in the Sierras, and there are cabins there, and there are bathhouses. So it's a kind of a camping spot had been for a number of years. And so they're like communal bathrooms. So in the afternoon, I was in the bathroom, and I'm at the urinal. Well, who steps up to the urinal beside me? It's Utah Phillips, and I was in awe of him. I mean, he's a quintessential folk character, very smart. He pretended a certain character on stage. That he was very funny, erudite. You know, of the people, he just a wonderful guy to have seen. And I'd seen him a few times before. Anyways, we're standing there, and that's in the, you know, custom of guys in that situation. You don't say anything, but on our way out the door, you know, I kind of turned to him and I said, I loved your show. It's really a thrill to see you here. And then I had some questions for him, and I mentioned this song. I said, I learned this song from Guy Carawan, you know, back in the 70s, and it's so different. And I can't reproduce exactly how he said it. He was like very dismissive of how they cleaned it up and turned it into this pretty song, when the origins of the song were about a much much rougher situation, and I had kind of figured that out already just from hearing the other versions and realizing, oh wow, this earlier version is probably, you know, where it's from and stuff. But it mattered to him a good deal that the first version of the song get heard, and because a lot of his songs are about hobos and you know, working migrations and the, you know, the economics of working people and that kind of thing. So anyways, he was funny. He was funny, but that was kind of a cool experience, you know, not the bathroom part, but the outside out on the pathway. He was very nice. I have vivid memory, and he was tall. He was like 6'2" or something, you know, and so I'm like, you know, it was cool. Anyways, yeah, let's do this again. Yeah, but to answer your question, Charlotte, it's hard. If I'm actually performing a song, I get choked up sometimes. If I'm really inside it and I'm really, it's hard to, you know, characterize the delivery of a song when you're really with people and you feel them as listeners and they're listening to that circuit of somebody's singing and somebody's listening, and that feeds back to the singer. It's powerful. And if you're singing a song that's got emotions like that, I don't know. I'm not always capable of it. I'll choke up, and I don't really mind doing that. You know, it's nice when you have the control over it to just get through the song. But if the emotions are there, they're there. I don't know. I think it's good. I'd rather cry about that than something than a hammer landing on my toe or something like that. So let's do the Guy in Candy Caravan version. It'd be kind of a pleasure to sing that through. And A, I guess. I look through these old letters and the postcards and the places where you've been. From the little towns on the railway lines and all the friendly homes that we've been in. And the whispers of the people in the towns when we've been there and they knew. Yes, I remember all those things, but mostly I remember loving you. I remember loving you back when the world was new, and I think you love me too. Remember loving you. The laurel smells that we knew so well when you'd hold me in your arms all in the rain. The night you came from a westbound freight you were passing through and said you couldn't stay. Just an hour we shared and you said you cared and you'd come again the next time you were through. Yes, I remember all those things, but mostly I remember loving you. I remember loving you back when the world was new, and I think you love me too. I remember loving you. When the north wind blows and I'm lying cold in my bed and I can't sleep for thoughts of you, and you're out somewhere in some lonesome town so far away that I can't get to you. Close by your side everywhere you ride, and you're with me in everything I do. Yes, I remember all these things, but mostly I remember loving you. I remember loving you. Back when the world was new, and I think you love me too. I remember loving you. I remember loving you. Back when the world was new, and I think you love me too. I remember loving you. Yeah, it's a different version of the same song. It's kind of interesting. There's things I like about it, and then the alleyways full of ragged strays and the doorway wine I tell my troubles to. That's a different song. That's cardboard in my shoes. It's kind of from a different place. The version by the Mild Colonial Boys. They're two of them at least are Bay Area people. The singer in that group, it's a house concert, as the video. It's a guy named Rory McNamara. He's a friend of mine. As a photographer and a folk singer, really good singer, Irish guy. He's been in America for a long time, but I met him at Strawberry actually, and he just had a way of inhabiting songs that make you feel like they're his somehow. They're really good folk singer. Which occurs to me, I should mention to you. I don't do this very often. This is an album of material that I wrote and sang. It's called Flickering Dreams is the name of the album. You can find it, truth be told, on YouTube. If you go to Richard Brandenburg, you'll see the whole album is up on YouTube. So if you just want to hear it, you can listen to each of the 15 songs right on YouTube. If you ever want to buy it, I have about 500 copies of it laying in the garage. It's from about 12 years ago that the album came out. But I mentioned it because Rory helped me put the out. He took the inside photos and helped me put the jacket together and design the CD cover, and he was very, very helpful to me during that time. But it's an album of songs that some of them are older than this time period, but most of them are from around the early 2000s. This was supposed to be a demo recording of me that some friends of mine helped me put together. They said, "We like your songs. If you get them out there, maybe somebody will record them someday. Emmylou Harris or somebody will record your song and you can retire, you know." But that didn't happen. But the idea was really sweet. So my friend Tony said, "Come to my studio. You can anything you get done in a day. I'll record you, and that can be your demo." And I was having a hard time in those days, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to get as many songs done in a day as I can. So I went in, loaded for bear, and I had 15 songs that I got recorded in one day. And Kathy Calick was playing guitar, and a friend of mine, Matt Dudman, was playing bass. So we were all in the room together, playing all together. I don't know if you know about recording, but it's nice when you can record things discreetly. Then you can change the guitar part or the vocal part or the bass part. It couldn't do it. These were all in one room. And that was the recording. And then we added Kathy's harmony parts and John Reichman playing mandolin. If you don't know, if you know him, but he's a world-class mandolin player, very good player. Friend of Kathy Calix from various bands they've been in together. And it turned into quite a nice little album for something that was recorded so quickly. I did 15 songs in a long day, and so I'm pretty happy with it. But it'll give you an idea of the kind of songs I write. You know, considering we've been talking about these things, you know. But they're about a number of different situations. Two or three of them are about the divorce that I happen to be going through in those days, but not all of them. So, anyways, but yeah, Rory helped me put together the album. Yeah, the different versions of this are good, but especially listen to the Utah Phillips and the Jody Stecker and Kate Breslin versions. They're gorgeous. Oh, Sheb Woolley. I don't know, you all aren't old enough. Remember, there's a song, Flying Purple People Eater, One-Eyed, One-Horn, Flying Purple People Eater. Well, Sheb Woolley wrote that. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah. So let's go on to Once a Day. A little more lighthearted. I don't know if I mentioned this, but when I'm searching for a key to sing something in, what I'm thinking about is what are the high notes and the low notes of the song. Did I mention this before? I might have. Okay, I won't repeat it, but anyway, that's kind of what I'm doing. Every day, all day long. Yeah, that's the high part. So I think I'll be okay in G. I'll go through it first. When you found somebody new, I thought I never would forget you, for I thought then I never could. But time has taken all the pains away, until now I'm down to hurting once a day, once a day, all day long, and once a night, from dusk till dawn. The only time I wish you weren't gone is once a day, every day, all day long. I'm so glad that I'm not like the guy I knew one time. He lost the one he loved and slowly lost his mind. He sat around and cried his life away. Lucky me, I'm only crying once a day, once a day, all day long, and once a night, from dusk till dawn. The only time I wish you weren't gone is once a day, every day, all day long. Just once a day, every day, all day long. Yeah, that last line. Once a day, C, G, D, G. she kind of comes quick, but it's cool the way that it, you know,
I was just gonna ask you about that. So just like one beat each?
exactly once a day, every day, all day long. Not actually hard, but it's kind of slick. It feels, you feel really smart when you do it. So, yeah, I heard somebody sing this at a jam recently, um, and he sang, um, oh yeah, he changed the, he said, I'm so glad I'm not like the guy I knew one time. He lost the one he loved and slowly lost his mind. He sat around and drank his life away. Lucky me, I'm only drinking once a day. Once a day. All day long. You know, you get it. It's kind of funny in the middle of a song. Somebody changes a line like that. I hadn't heard that before. Very clever songwriting. I mean, it's the the kind of wordplay that was part of that whole style of a couple verses and a chorus, and that's the whole song. But that sort of colloquial, I'm so glad I'm not like that guy I knew one time. He went nuts, boy. That guy, poor him. It's just kind of funny. And Bill Anderson, if you're not familiar with him, wrote a lot of songs. One of them is a song that Lucy and I do called "Must You Throw Dirt in My Face." You've already put big old tears in my eyes. Must you throw dirt in my face? It's kind of a he's an interesting guy. Somebody recently said I love his songs, but his singing is creepy, and it kind of is. He was called Whispering Bill Anderson, and he had this super gentle, weird kind of a voice. Connie Smith had a big hit with this. I think she may have had the first real hit with it, and it was kind of in the beginning of her career. And she and Marty Stewart have a long history together. He was a kid in the audience when Connie Smith was first performing, and he saw her, and I don't know what the age difference is, 10 or 15 years probably, and he just decided he was going to marry her when he grew up, and he did. He married her when he grew up. He got to know her, and she fell in love with him, and they're still married. So, yeah, this song's been done by a lot of people. George Jones is one of them, but there's some nice versions by women. Rhonda Vincent does a good version, Loretta Lynn. And the Queeby sisters I think they might be from Canada. I'm not certain of that. They are a kind of a Western swing performance unit of these three gals who all play fiddle and all sing. They've got a great trio, really tight. And a guy, I think their history is I think might have been their dad or somebody played with them. Now they've got another guy who plays, but they were young girls who started to perform, and now they continue. And they're very good, really good harmonies. And actually, that clip is on the Marty Stewart TV show. So you can kind of see what they're doing. And yeah, let's do this song another time. When you found somebody new, I thought I never would forget you, for I thought then I never could. But time has taken all the pains away, until now I'm down to hurting once a day. Once a day, all day long. once a night from dusk till dawn. The only time I wish you weren't gone is once a day, every day, all day long. I'm so glad that I'm not like that guy I knew one time. He lost the one he loved, then slowly lost his mind. He sat around and cried his life away. Lucky me, I'm down to hurting once a day. Once a day, all day long, and once a night from dusk till dawn. The only time I wish you weren't gone is once a day, every day, all day long. Just once a day, every day, all day long. So any well, actually I'm curious, Charlotte, what part of that song was choking you up? I'm just curious.
Gosh, there we go. Well, you know, the railroad songs just kill me. I mean, there's just, you know, I don't know. But I think what I thought about was when I was watching the lyrics while you were singing, you know, it just kind of reminded me of that song by Brooke Benton from the 60s, The Rainy Night in Georgia. It's like, yeah, it just, you know, so much, I don't know, sadness, pathos, you know, and people actually live that way. And I mean, it's just hard to imagine, but boy, you can really feel it, you
Yeah,
know, in these words, in these lyrics.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's true. It's true. And there are certain motifs that I agree with you. They just pull on things. Um, the you know, railroad yards and things that we pass by, and I don't know if it's projection or what. You just kind of, that's the loneliness of those spaces and the people
Mhm.
that are in them. You get these kind of, these feelings of yeah, loneliness. And yeah, it's interesting.
Yep.
But
They're
anyways,
beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah, really beautiful.
But any requests for things to get into in the next couple weeks?
So I know I asked you about one, but you said it was kind of more that, well, okay, now where is it? One that is too common to kind of do for us, but I'd really like
What
to
was
hear
that?
your version of the, like, can the circle be unbroken? Will the
Oh,
circle?
sure. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Uh,
that'd be great. I'll do that next week.
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but on that song, you know, Carol, I did not know it, you know, in my youth. And I think maybe, I don't know, in recent history, someone in passing said they were in Germany
Hmm.
and they went to some kind of performance or party or gathering. And this song, the Germans all knew the words. And
Wow.
it's like, I was kind of floored by that because I kind of don't remember it, you know.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's a lovely song. And
it is.
to think that, you know, in the rest of the world, I mean, they're singing songs that are songs. I just think that's really
Yeah.
cool and interesting, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
how far they travel.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's a good way to
Well,
put it.
I'll bring it next week and we'll do it.
Thank you. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's got a good history. And then I I first heard that song when that album came out in the early '70s. Will the Circle Be Unbroken? It was the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band and various country performers, um, Roy Acuff and Mother Maybelle and Jimmy Martin and Vassar Clements played the fiddle. The people that had been in the country world for a long time, playing with this kind of hippie band, um, the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, and but it brought kind of the cultures together. It was a really important album, and that was the first time a lot of people, in our culture heard that song, and it was a Carter family song.
I think that my dad was a big well, he's a big Johnny Cash fan and
Yeah.
then the Carters and stuff. So I think that's kind of I must have I don't know. I can't remember like the first time I heard it, but I don't and I've heard it with so many beautiful
Oh yeah,
voices. It's
it
awesome.
is. And it's a gorgeous song, and the whole image of the unbroken circle. Will it be? Can it be unbroken? Yeah, we'll bring it next week.
Thank you. It's great. Okay, I'm gonna try to figure out my Venmo. So
Oh, okay.
maybe while you're sitting here so I can
Oh, okay.
don't screw
Yeah.
it up.
Yeah, it's at RE Brandenburg is the Venmo address or the PayPal address.
Well, from my Carter family, can you see this? Whoop.
No, maybe hold it back a little bit.
Uh,
A little
uh,
further, little
can't.
further.
There we go. Oh,
Okay. Oh, it's coming and going.
Carter
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah.
collection.
Oh
Yeah, it
wow.
has Can the Circle Be Unbroken? First New York Sessions, May 5th, 1935.
Wow. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great book. That looks really good.
It's it's a great book.
Yeah. Cool.
Carter Family Collection.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Carter family. I had trouble listening to them because it sounded so archaic and so odd to my ears. Now it sounds so familiar. It's hard to say that, but the single mic of recording and just the way they sang and everything about it, it just seemed like it's from another world. But they brought so many great songs, and
I'm focusing. I'm still trying to do two things at once. I'm not.
oh,
I just saw your face on here and now it went away, so I gotta go.
okay, that's me. Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Well, well, since you're
Oh,
asking for favorites,
Yeah.
I think Wildwood Flower is
Okay.
that's one of my favorite
Good.
Carters. I remember being in the mountains like 20 years ago, and there was a young man playing a beautiful guitar, and he played the song, and I knew what it was. But when when he talked about it, he said, "Well, I just learned this tune somewhere." He didn't really know the history behind it. So, but he sure played it real
Wow.
pretty on the guitar.
That's cool. That's great too. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, it was,
the
yeah.
power of those songs, it just kind of stuck to him, and he.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
good.
Okay. Richard, can you tell me the last four digits of your phone number?
Oh, 0938.
Thank you. It's checking because I haven't done this before to you.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Oh, is Venmo asking you, Carol?
yes,
I guess I better jot that down too then. 0938.
Yes.
it's got
Okay.
your face. It's definitely your face here, so it definitely looks like it's you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna confirm.
Yep. Came
All
through.
right. I have two people, my son, my hairdresser, but now you.
Okay. Yeah,
Awesome.
it's a common way to pay for classes and private lessons and things.
Yeah, it's
Works
easy.
out
I
well.
just really appreciate you hanging in here with us. So
Oh, sure. No, it's really a
That's been
pleasure.
a treat. Thank you. And thank you for
Good.
fronting us till we can get this to you.
Oh, sure. No, this is my pleasure. I really enjoy doing this, and you all are so sweet. You got so much interest in the songs, and really, it's great for me. So,
awesome. So next week I'm going to be in Austin, Texas.
oh,
Uh,
okay,
so I'm still planning to be here. I just have to make sure I add an hour or take away an hour or whatever it is. So
okay.
yeah, we're going out to see a cousin of mine and to see the eclipse. So we'll see how
Oh, good,
the weather
cool.
cooperates. We'll
Yeah,
see how that goes.
good. I
Yeah.
hope you get to see it. Great.
Yeah, me too. And my cousin who kind of got me interested in guitar is going to be out there. So I'm
Oh,
excited.
nice.
I hadn't started playing. I've only been playing for 2 years, but I met him he's kind of the reason I started. So I'm excited to like show him what I can do.
Good. Yay. Very good. Great. Okay. Well, thank you both. Lovely to see you. And
Thank you. Oh,
You.
Richard, before you go, is
yeah.
the amount 165 or
Um.
anybody remember the amount? I sure
It
don't.
came as I got refunded 170. So
Once it's 170, got it.
Okay.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's
Yeah.
that
I'm
was
not keeping track of.
awesome.
Yes.
Good. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you
Have
both.
a wonderful trip. Thank you, Richard.
Yeah. See you next time.
Yeah.